imagine on Fridays, if the call is at 10 o'clock, if I have any new information to share, that will be going out. I've had a few students reach out to me, which actually is really makes my day when they do, and shared some of what they're doing. And I think I've tried to emphasize, and we want to continue to emphasize everyone about the social distancing. I think everybody's pretty much on board with that now. But also for families, it's really important to have students or children stick to a set routine and a set schedule, because the disruption of this is enough of a stressor for them. And so every day needs to sort of gain its own new normalcy during the closure period. So we just need to support families in however we can.
Awesome update, Patty. I'll defer to the committee with any questions or comments or concerns, issues, or caveats. Nicole?
I was just going to say that I thought it was very effective to be using both social media and the email. I saw a few just comments by different people in town, not people I know, that they didn't get the emails for whatever reason. And so having that information pushed out in a variety of locales, I think is much more effective. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you. I think the information's getting out there, and I'm glad to hear that, we're able to provide meals and everything. So thank you.
Yeah, so the other piece about the meals is currently, to get government reimbursement on your meals, you have to have that 50% is the floor that you have to meet for reimbursement. We are not there. We are going to continue to provide meals. I assured the food services director that his operation will be made whole from this. And so I have a few ideas if we have to take funds from another pocket where they can come from.
Yeah, that won't be an issue for me.
Thanks, Nicole. Don?
I'm good. Excellent update. I know it's a very fluid situation.
Thanks,
and I do
Don.
want to assure
Chris?
you, I've had. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Patty.
I just wanted to say, any email, I've had various emails from individual families or parents, and I respond, and as an add-on to Nicole's piece, monitoring social media, when I see certain things, I also reach out to those parents who might be wondering, why. So we follow up to see why, because they are in our system, so they should know what's going on. So I'm just trying to, I have responded to, and so the principals have as well, to every parent who sends an email gets an pretty much immediate response.
Thank you. Chris?
I just have a couple things. One, I just want to throw a little kudos out there for the teaching staff. I know I've gotten a lot of feedback about how great they've been, reaching out to the students, during this time. And, specifically, I will mention at least one name. I know Ms. Stroshine has been amazing with the engagement and reaching out to students through Google Classroom and keeping them all engaged. So I definitely want to mention that and let the administration know that their staff is doing a really, really good job handling this and trying to keep up with the kids. The other thing I want to talk about was, and we touched on this a little bit earlier, was, and I know it's probably a little early for the state or anybody to really be thinking about it, but I hope that questions start getting raised about the longevity of this and what the impact might be on students if it goes long term, or even not that long term, because I'm sure we have some students that are kind of on that brink, especially maybe seniors that maybe need that little extra help and might not be quite making the requirements they need for graduation or even to get to the next grade. And missing these days and not having that time and the assignments to kind of catch up and bring their average up or whatever they need to do. What are we going to do to support that? And like I said, I'm not necessarily expecting an answer right now because I know it's a little early, but I really hope that these questions are going to start getting asked and hopefully answered if this continues to go on any longer. And lastly, before you answer that, before the, because I know I may not speak before the meeting ends, I just want to say thank you to Jeff, and you've done an outstanding job setting up this meeting and getting this all together for us.
Well, thanks,
I
Chris.
agree,
I
and
appreciate that.
I so want to tell everyone to drive home safely.
It'll be a quick trip.
Will do.
Yeah. George, what you got, my friend?
I'll echo that. I mean, I'm a technophobe here, and this was very smooth getting this thing operating here this evening. So thanks, Jeff. I kind of like to echo Chris's comments in terms of I'm afraid this may last a bit longer than we're currently planning. And I know from my other job that just about every tour has been canceled through April, and at this point it's almost going to mid-May. So people are thinking the long term on this, and I think, there's stuff that I don't know what we should be thinking, but if we are in this for the long term, what else are we going to be able to do to help the students and the faculty?
Well, I can assure you that when we have our conference calls with the commissioner, almost every superintendent is on that. And our association, led by Tom Scott, is right in the thick of things, making sure all these kinds of questions we're getting answers to. So we all have that same worry and concern. So we should find out a little bit more, hopefully Friday.
Yeah, I'm afraid this might be a longer haul than just April 7th. Personal opinion.
Yeah.
All right, thank you all. I don't have anything to add there. I appreciate everyone's input. The only comment I had is that until we get the schools back open, it'll be my intention that any meetings or working groups that we have between now and then will be virtual. If you need help with virtual, then we can figure it out together as a group. No issue. I know we do have Google Hangouts that you can use as well, which we've used previously. I didn't use those for this meeting because I was not as familiar with them. So I wanted my 2 cents, and I appreciate the comments from everybody. I wanted to thank you guys for being flexible, and I think Gail gave me a hashtag last night. It was learning curve. So we're here, right, and everything's changing every couple minutes. So again, appreciate the flexibility, and we'll continue to do everything we can as a committee and as a community and as administration to take care of our kids and their parents and the rest of the people in Mashpee as well as we can, and be as transparent as we can while being, following CDC recommendations and with social distancing and any other mitigation effects we can have in place. And with that said, I'll move to the next agenda item, which is any did not reasonably know in advance. I do not have any. I believe all of our public has left, with the exception of our supportive reporter. But I will say, if anybody in the public is on that I can't see and they would like to do public comment, to please shoot a note in chat, and I will call on you, and you can go ahead and do your public comment. But I don't think there's anybody left. I think we had 3 or 4 of the public and joining us on this call, so that was kind of nice to see.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Are you closing public comment? Sorry. Wait.
I was going to in a second. So I don't see anybody in chat for public comment, so I will stop public comment. Nicole, what you got?
Well, I just wanted to, I think this qualifies as didn't reasonably know in advance, because I think I got something that I shared with you guys yesterday, which was just the Board of Selectmen on Sunday had declared Mashpee in a state of emergency, and also passed some new norms, meeting procedures that they kind of accepted during this, that's kind of consistent with the emergency declaration. And I just wondered if we needed to do anything. I mean, my response to this was, we're meeting virtually. But do we need to put anything out that says any of these things, or is it not necessary, in your opinion? Or
In
is
my
it kind of
opinion,
like
it's not.
we're doing this already, we don't really need to codify it anywhere?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think that we're going to continue to work together to figure out the location of our meetings, and when we're all comfortable with doing a face-to-face meeting, we'll do it. I don't believe we need to codify anything. All we'd have to do is turn around and recodify it when we go back to physical meetings. So I think that's kind of I don't want to badmouth Board of Selectmen. That's not my point. I just don't think it's necessary. Does anybody have concern with that? I mean, we'll have an agenda. You guys will see the draft agenda for the next meeting, and right now my plan is to have that a virtual meeting as well.
Well, I think it might be, as a courtesy, I think it could be useful to either send something to either the chair or the liaison from the Board of Selectmen, just letting them know what we plan to do during the closure, something that comes from you as the chair. It's just an email that says, hey, this is how we're handling this, just so that they're aware. I don't know when they're going to maybe go to virtual meetings, but they're trying to have their next Monday meeting in person again. So it's just we're doing it differently than they are, and it might be worth letting them know. I only passed along that we were doing ours remote, and so.
No, I mean if that's your request, I respect that request, and I'll reach out to the liaison and the chair and let them know what our plans are.
Great.
Like you said, as a courtesy, I don't have any issue with that. Maybe they'll determine it's a good idea for them to do the same.
Yeah. Nicole, they're planning on an open meeting or just the select?
No, if you look at the document, the meetings are all closed to the public, but they're going to be live broadcast on Mashpee
Gotcha.
TV, I guess. And then but I don't know how they're handling the public comment piece. And they're also, I wasn't there on Monday, but I guess they were spread out in the room. So I don't know.
Imagine. Thank you.
Well, I mean, I think this meeting was very successful, so I don't think there was any reason to be in the same room together. We can complete our business virtually. Even if we had a lot of technical issues, we would be able to move down that path in the way that we discussed earlier. Feedback is accepted about different ways you want to do it, but I'm cool with it right now, and we'll pass that information on to the Board of Selectmen. Going once before we adjourn, anyone?
I just wanted to say a thank you to the committee for support during this time. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Yeah, I don't want to speak at everybody, but of course.
Yeah,
Well,
No,
I'll
nothing
move
to
to
do.
adjourn.
I was just kidding. All right, George, you beat me to it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
How do you vote? Nicole?
Yes.
Don?
yes.
Chris?
Yes.
George?
Oh, yes.
I also vote yes, unanimous. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. See you later.
Thank you.